Hi folks. A couple years ago, I had the pleasure of doing a show with Tom from the Scottdale Area Historical Society. And during that show, we talked all about the architecture here in Scottdale. We said at that time, maybe it'd be kind of fun to take a peek on the inside of some of these places as well. So guess where we're going today? Hi folks, welcome to Around the Town with Marilyn Forbes. Today we're going to visit the interior of a couple of these houses here in Scottdale. And well, you know the ones I'm talking about, the ones you drive by and say, I wonder what that looks like inside. Well, today you're going to find out. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Well, now we are at the lovely home of Tom and Ruth. Thank you so much for having us. Now, tell us, first of all, what type of a house is this?
Okay, this would be considered a Queen Anne style home.
Okay.
Of course, it's Victorian. The house was built in 1882 by Andrew and Mary Bishop. And the house was remodeled and added on to in 1896 by James and Jenny Wiley.
Okay. Now it has 14 rooms, you told me? 14 rooms.
2 baths, yes.
How many fireplaces?
4 fireplaces.
4 fireplaces.
Yes.
Okay, now what I want you folks to understand is when Tom and his wife purchased this, it was not in very good shape.
It was considered the haunted house. It was overgrown. It was covered in gray insole brick. It was in very sad shape, and you know, one of the neighbors actually wanted it to enlarge their property and consider having the house torn down.
Oh my goodness!
You know, and but we saw the potential in it, and it had to be home.
And I want you folks also to understand they did everything that you see, other than the woodwork and the windows. Obviously, Tom and his wife did all of the wallpapering.
Yeah.
It's just and the ceilings.
And the ceilings, that's a very Victorian thing to do, to have multiple patterns on the ceilings as well as the borders at the ceiling line on the walls. When you look at the wainscoting type of idea, you know, that would be about chair rail height or whatever. It was actually done with dark papers and things to be practical, so if you bumped into it, it wouldn't show wear and tear.
There you
so
go.
The Victorians, they might have been, you know, they were kind of, you know, smart about their designs as well.
That is so neat. Oh my. Okay, and we're going to step in here real quick. Okay, you're calling this a parlor? This is your parlor?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, living room, or the Victorians always called it a parlor. It has the true Victorian, you know, upholstery and so forth in it, and
I love this. Please tell us. I know he's going to be very humble. This is actually, explain this. This is painted.
This is a slate mantle.
Slate, okay.
Now, this mantle is, again, it's slate, and it was all painted to look like marble.
Oh,
now, that was considered a very chic thing to do in the Victorian era, because there was always marble mantles and so forth in period design, but now all of a sudden you were dealing with an artisan creating these faux finishes. We are lucky in Scottdale. There are 2 more mantles very, very similar to this. As a matter of fact, the one in the Lox Homestead is very much like this.
That's why
now,
I thought it was
has
Italian.
More green veining as opposed to this being gray. When we purchased the home, the over mantle was not here. That actually came off of an old sideboard we got out of a barn, and the woodwork was all painted white, and so I did marbleize the mantle, over mantle mirror piece and the wood trim around the room to emulate the marbleized that you have on the mantle.
You did such a nice job. I mean, it's
Thank
amazing.
you.
Oh my God. And this was before YouTube videos, folks. He bought a book or two. And
Old House Journal, I read on how to do it. And the biggest thing they said, do not use shiny paint. And they said that it just screams phony if you have too high of a shine.
Too high, so you need like matte finishes.
Yeah.
And then now here, this is the
key. Now the mantle is gas. I mean, the fireplace is gas heated. Those are original logs to the home. And if you looked in real close, there's tiny little holes all through those logs. Anyhow, there's a key, and it actually should be here. And what you do is you just take this key and you turn the valve on the floor, and you can hear the gas running.
Oh,
and then you have to light it with a match, and then it just casts a little blue flame out through all those holes. Just like looking at your gas stove cooking in the kitchen.
But you said it works well.
It throws off a tremendous amount of heat.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
All right, into the dining room. Is that where we're proceeding?
Okay.
Okay,
Yes.
all righty.
Okay, when you're looking here, this is just an easy place to be able to see.
Okay, I was going to ask you. Okay.
All the windows have these were called wooden blinds, and what they do, these are terrific, especially when you have sub-zero weather and everything. You can't believe how the cold air really makes a difference. And of course, in the summertime, you know, if you have like a lot of bright sun coming in, it does keep the rooms cooler. And then, of course, there's some of these, they have the little peek-through things with the vent, with the louvers and so forth. But all the windows, they are a problem sometimes to deal with when they stick. So I can see why people have removed them, but we're fortunate they were left in all the windows here.
Sure, and they're in great condition.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to step into the living room.
Well, we call it a family room.
Oh, family room, okay.
Yeah.
Another themed Christmas tree here. I'm sorry, I'm
That's okay.
I'm partial to this one.
Okay, well, that's Rudolph.
Rudolph
course,
and
you
all
know.
his friends.
Yeah. The grandchildren really appreciate it the most,
I'm sure.
I think, you know. And yeah, this is our family room. We do have another themed area, is Christmas Vacation is done on the mantle. That's a little bit of some of her Christmas Vacation. This room, you can tell, was done a little later because when you look at the leaded glass transits and things in here, compared to the other ones, they're a lot more plain because you were starting to get into late Victorian and the more ornate designs were going out of fashion and the more, you know, subtle designs were becoming popular.
So now, to the best of your knowledge, was this ever like a bed and breakfast or anything prior to you folks
No,
owning it?
Well,
or
okay, whenever we purchased the home, the lady, the state that we bought it from, she had a boarding house here.
Oh, okay.
So
all right.
there were 3 apartments on the 2nd floor. They had tenants there, and she lived on this level. What's really been kind of, you know, it's always was families from when it was built, but it's amazing. We've been places and people say, oh, I know that house. My aunt lived on the 3rd floor, or we lived on the 2nd floor apartment. And so, you know, quite a few people have resided here over the years. When we purchased the home, there were tenants here, and we were able to take over the entire house and,
awesome.
you know, turn it back into a single-family
dwelling. Sure. Oh, my goodness. Well, Tom is actually going to join us on our next stop. We're going to be going down the street to South
Broadway Manor.
Okay.
Yes.
I must have bad with names today.
That's
so
no
stick
worries.
with us, folks. This is going to be another treat. I know this is a house that a lot of folks have been wondering what it looks like inside, and we're going to find out.
Great.
Now, is this part of the tour too, or no?
Not this year.
Okay.
No. Let's go.
I have never been in here, so this is a treat for me.
Well, okay. The front entry, the wainscoting, how high this is all quarter sawn oak, and this center hall, and with the original, with all the leaded glass and the way it's done, goes the whole way to the 3rd floor. It is a B&B, and so when you look at this area, this was a setting room. This would have been more of the man's parlor here. This archway is such an incredible feature of the room, and that would go on through to the dining area. Pat Hill runs this as a B&B, and the reason why she converted these rooms into adding the beds, that way if someone's here who might be handicapped, she has ADA compliant bathroom on this level, and so people who maybe cannot manage the stairs are able to take advantage of these rooms. And then they just pull these pocket doors shut for the privacy.
Look at that.
Yeah. This would be the ladies' parlor over here. Originally, whenever the Reed family and the descendants, when Pat bought the house from the auction, this had all the gilded furniture, all the French design pieces in it. And so that's, you'll notice like the definitely inspired French mantle in this room. And, you know, again, this is available for, you know, the people who maybe do not want to use the stairs. You know, she does a great job. She has a chef on staff, and they do wonderful breakfasts, and she has some specialty menu items just for that. And, you know, it's a great place to stay.
And then upstairs?
Well, the dining room, you're going to want to see that.
Okay. Oh my, this is lovely.
Yep. And, you know, incredible chandelier. I mean, you have this impressive dining table. I love the bay window and the seating there. And I think that one of my favorite architectural details of this home, which has so many, look at the glass in this mantle.
Oh my gosh, I've never seen that.
See how the glass is? Yeah, I mean, with that leaded glass door and all, it's just...
I've never seen anything like that.
To me, it's such a specialty mantelpiece there. You know, and then you have, like, say, this is the turn of this, you're heading more like into 1904 when the home was built. See how you're kind of going a little bit more arts and crafts with the tile. Yes. You have that square, it has sort of that bachelor tile type of design going into it. And notice you still have all the quarter sawn oak wainscoting in here. And again, this would have been done, you know, for the grandeur of the home, but also like if chairs bumped up against it, you weren't tearing or nicking up the paint or whatever.
Sure.
So, you know, but this was all done to impress.
Tom, thank you. This has been a sheer delight. And give us one more time the name of the place for people who may...
South Broadway Manor.
Okay.
They have their official website, and I know Pat does reservations. You can go through like Airbnb and all the Verbo and all those, so she's connected with all those platforms.
Awesome. Stay with us, folks. Tom and I are actually going to be going on the other side of town.
Absolutely.
Stay with us.
Okay.
Okay, folks, now for our next stop. We are here at Carol's home. Thank you, Carol, for having us.
Very welcome.
And this is a really awesome house. This is one of the oldest houses in Scottdale. I'm taking the liberty of saying that.
Okay.
And it was built in...
1822.
Okay, and now how many rooms do you have here, Carol?
About 13.
About 13. This house is one of the houses that is featured sometimes on the Christmas tour that the Scottdale Historical Society has. So you guys have to always check the website around Christmas time to see when that is. But first of all, I mean, tell us about your place. It's beautiful here. You've owned it since 2002?
Wow,
so
2004.
Okay.
Yes, it's a federal farmhouse. It was built by Mr. Stauffer. He was the first Mennonite minister west of the Alleghenies. They farmed, they had a grist mill, they had coke oven, so they did a little bit of everything.
Now this is cool back here as well. Carol was explaining to us earlier that this was the first or one of the first homes to have running water?
Well, they tell us that this was one of the first homes to have running water. There's a lot of underground springs on the property. So underneath this room in the cellar, there is a cooking fireplace, but there's also an old stone trough where all the water runs in. So they would be able to get the running water, bring it up to the house, and have it for their daily use.
Oh, that's crazy.
And it's still running today. We still have running water.
See, and they say that the best things are what was made a long time ago. That you just can't make things today.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're going to proceed this way through here then. Okay, this is obviously a living area.
Well, it is, and initially this was two separate rooms. They said that this front room was more the gentleman's room because it had the little bit fancier woodwork.
Oh, all right.
Okay, so it was their smoking parlor per se, and then the ladies had their little sitting room behind. But it's opened up. It works for us.
Nice bigger room. And,
Yes.
and tell us now what this is. This is a really cool
On the
addition
wall,
here.
previous owners had uncovered under many, many layers of wallpaper that says 1842 farm purchased. And it's been said that Mr. Stauffer's son purchased a farm from him 1842 and was so proud of that that he did the little scribble on the wall.
Well, that's like I said, that's something
Pretty
definitely-
cool,
Yes,
isn't
it is
it?
really
Yes.
cool, and it's something
Yes.
you have to be really glad to have something like that.
Yes.
Talk about
Yes.
something neat that you can keep forever. And
Small
we're gonna
pieces of history.
proceed into here. Now, if you
Okay.
folks can see, Carol took a lot of pains. This is really decorated, I would say, period Christmas decor. It's lovely. Now, this is your dining area.
It is, yes.
The dining room. And was this always a dining room, or did you change it around?
To
or-
the best of my knowledge, it's always been a dining room. At one point, well, originally it was all solid wall over there, but at one point, one of the families opened the wall, and it certainly works much better. So,
And I think this is a really cool feature, something I've never heard of, a
Chimney
chimney cupboard.
cupboard.
Yes, I
Yes,
got
yes.
it. Okay, that's this over here. And you want to explain to us what that is?
just a cupboard that you would have. It would keep whether it's your food items that you wanted to keep warm. Upstairs in the bedrooms, you could warm your blankets or whatever, just to, because it was right next to
And
the
it was-
fireplace.
you
So
just
you
got
had
the
the
natural-
chimney.
okay.
Yes.
And you said something like this was similar in the kitchen originally as well.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. Okay. I think we're going to probably go upstairs now and take a peek at some
Okay.
of the rooms up there.
That works.
Okay, we are upstairs. This is the second floor?
Yes,
Okay, and we have,
yes.
what, 4 bedrooms here, or what do we have?
We have a total of 4 bedrooms.
Okay, and are they all working bedrooms?
Yes, they are. You can come sleep anytime you want.
That's what I want to know, that
Yes,
you,
yes.
because we haven't peeked here.
previously had been a bed and breakfast.
Okay.
But it's wonderful now when all the family comes in.
Oh, I'll bet. Oh, my
Everybody,
goodness.
everybody has their room. In particular, the one that you're in now, the kids like because it has a rope bed. Do you know rope beds?
No, what is-
Sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. So instead of your box springs or whatever, it's roped, and then the mattress or,
Really?
yes,
Oh, that's neat.
yes.
Well, thank you for sharing your lovely, lovely home with us. As I said, for you folks, this is sometimes included on the Christmas tour, so you definitely want to watch for that every year. And Carol, thank you again for graciously opening up your lovely home.
Absolutely.
This has been a treat. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Come back anytime.
Oh, we will. Now we are here at West Overton. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for being with us.
It's my pleasure. It's great to have you back here. We're doing some decorating here for the holiday season. Each room of the house is always decorated to a slightly different time period because the family lived here the entirety of the 1800s and into the 1900s. So each room, each stop on the tour has a slightly different look and slightly different experience that we weren't on the tour.
I think the house in itself is the experience too. I mean, this is awesome. And actually, we're going to go and visit a couple more rooms, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do it.
Okay, now we are in, what is this?
This room today we call the Mennonite room.
Okay.
For the Christmas season, we use this room to talk about Christmas when the family first moved here from Bucks County near Philadelphia because, as you mentioned to me, they were all Mennonites. And as Mennonites, they were sort of more Puritan-like in some of their beliefs. And one of those beliefs was they did not celebrate Christmas. So in the early part of the 1800s, there was no Christmas celebration, no Christmas dinner, no special church service, certainly no gifts. It was just any other day. And some people really frowned upon celebration of Christmas as being blasphemous and making light of what should be a very holy day, holy time of year. And so that's what we use this room to interpret.
Okay. Okay, now we are in the...
This is called the mural room
Okay.
today.
Why is it called the mural room?
Well, it might be because of the giant painting on the wall around us. So this, historically in the 1800s, was the Overholt family parlor, a room for entertaining guests, visiting with people, sort of kind of like our living room now. When this became the mural room in the 1920s, Helen Frick commissioned this painting that envelops these walls. It's painted by an artist in New York, brought here, rolled out as wallpaper, and is actually a timeline of the French and Indian War era of southwestern Pennsylvania. And this room is starting to look a lot more like our Christmas traditions. So in this room we have a full-size tree, where there's another room in the house we just have a small Civil War era tabletop tree. By the 1850s and 60s, America started to get Christmas tree fever, one newspaper said. So full-size trees are becoming popular. There were new businesses called Christmas tree nurseries opening up for the first time to furnish these trees for people's families. They had a lot of the same decorations that the earlier tree does. A lot of paper decorations, patriotic things, pine cones, little bags of nuts, simple things, of course. And historically, they would have had real candles on those trees. And sometimes it would be the youngest member of the family's job to sit there by the tree with a bucket of water in case things...
Oh, I thought you were going to say light them. I was like, wow, that doesn't make too much sense. Okay, he was the one responsible in case it
which also doesn't
caught on
make sense
fire.
really, because you'd think you'd want somebody with a little more, knowledge and responsibility. Height also is important. But but instead of having many presents under the tree, we'll find things hanging off of the tree, some things next to the tree. So this room is the closest that our visitors are going to feel to home when it comes to those Christmas traditions.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for sharing the house with us. This is a first that we got to see the inside and see some of the great lines of what was original and what was updated. And
yeah, it's my pleasure to have you filming here for the first time, and what better time of the year to do it than when we're decorating for Christmas.
there you go, exactly.
Thank you for being here this morning.
Again, thanks for having us.
My pleasure.
Okay, we're ready for our final house. This is the Lox House. This is actually the headquarters of the Scottdale Area Historical Society. We saw the outside, we've never seen the inside.
The house was built in 1835. Peter S. Loucks, when he married Mary Boyd from Mount Pleasant, he Victorianized the home. And at that time, they took the original front doors off, which happened to be downstairs, and they put this leaded door in. This would not have been the original stairwell. It would have been a much simpler design. When you look at all this design work with the curves and the spindles, this is what's called aesthetic movement. This is the only true reproduction wallpaper. And this is also aesthetic movement, and it was a tribute to the arts, reason for the stylized floral design there with the flowers. So when you look at this, and I always share this story, and Kim Fox, our treasurer, she does a great job with a lot of maintenance. She says, a man must have designed this because no woman would have ever done it because it's too hard to clean.
Yeah, I get it. I can see. Yes.
So we always sort of tease a little bit about it. So when you're looking at the house, you'll see like a lot of Victorian details, but yet there's still a lot of the 1835 features in the home. When you look at this front door going into this, what we call the double parlor, this has what they call the bookend type of design panels. And just to kind of give you an idea, whenever you look at, they were sort of, tight about the whole thing. This would be a typical 1830s door.
Oh, okay.
See how it has the real wide band and everything here at the bottom? It's a total different design. And so and now you have to remember, this would have been 2 rooms.
Okay.
There would have been a fireplace there and there, because this is a federal farmhouse is how it was originally built. And this room was opened up into the large double parlor, and the columns were added whenever it did that remodel. The mantle was given to the Historical Society when we got really regrouped. There was like a gray stone 50 style mantle put in, so this mantle came from the Geyer Theater, actually one of their props, and we were thrilled to get it because if you look at the columns, look how they look like the columns.
They do.
Structurally
They sure
in
do,
here.
yeah.
So we considered that a real find.
Cool. And then there's like, is this another living area?
Yeah.
I mean, living room area or parlor?
Correct.
Or,
yes. Now this would have been this would have been done more again like the Victorian parlor.
And did you paint this one as well?
No, this is, now see how this has more of the green to it?
Yes, now this
as opposed-
this is Italian marble, right?
No, this is the
gosh.
slate
One of
that's
these
painted
is?
to look like marble. No,
Okay.
this was that Victorian theme. And like I say, there's a third mantle in town, and
Okay.
it's just a few houses away from here. So there may be more. We do attribute a lot of the design to an architect, Samuel Zerley. And he did a lot of the Victorian homes and things in town. And if you look at some of the embellishments and designs on the exterior, you see a lot of those same features in other houses around town. This would have been the dining room here. This is another marbleized mantle.
Is this Italian marble?
No, it's marbleized.
Where did I get there was Italian marble in this place?
All the shutters, there's a couple rooms upstairs that have a few left. If anybody ever has a lot of patience and loves to solve puzzles, we have stacks and stacks of the shutters. Someone took all the shutters out to clean them and didn't number them.
Oh, no.
So we have shutters for all the windows in the house, in the attic,
But
and a couple
you
of the
don't
bedrooms.
know.
But we have no idea where they belong. So, Marilyn, in your free time, maybe.
There you go.
Okay.
David and I can come and
There you go.
we'll
That's
put shutters
great.
together.
Another great feature about this home
This is my favorite.
is out here on the sun porch. When you're looking at this area, this would have been the drive going around, and this was designed so that the ladies, whenever they would be in their carriage, they didn't have to step under the ground. They would just basically be able to step from the carriage right in.
And it's
into the
about
house.
this big of a
Exactly.
drop. Yep.
Yeah. And then, you have the root cellar that goes under the ground. It's a wonderfully built feature in there with, like, say, the brick walls and everything, the way it's all contoured. That was your refrigerator.
Yes,
you had the
exactly.
spring house and so forth.
Nature's
But again,
refrigerator.
And you got to think, this was all, farmland the whole way around. We call this the Catherine Geyer room. We do rent out the Loucks Homestead for events and parties. A lot of people do receptions and things. We do the bedrooms if someone needs like not necessarily a B&B, but a place to stay. This room is we have another bedroom down here. Again, there would have been a mantle there with the cupboard beside it. And again, this is a very typical federal floor plan. Center hall, 2 rooms on each side, left and right of the center hall. One of the things about this home I think is incredible is this balcony area. You have a fantastic view of the Chestnut Ridge.
You sure do. Oh my.
If I lived here, that's where I'd have my coffee in the morning. It's just, this was all apartments. The last Loucks descendant lived on the first floor. There were apartments on both sides of this, of the second level, and then they had tenants on the third floor.
Oh, really?
It was really nice. There was a couple here. They were from Germany originally, and they grew up living on the third floor for a while as their father worked here in town for one of the mills, and they came back to reminisce and see the home. Yeah.
Oh. And they were probably really glad to see not only was it still here, but it's, this is another bedroom.
Yeah, and then this would be, like, say, the fourth room, 2 on each side of the center hall.
Oh.
And again, there'd have been back-to-back mantles. There would have been a mantle there. We have premium bedding for all the beds and so forth, and queen or king size. They're not antique beds, so they're not totally small. And
they're longer.
One of the things that I find unique about whenever you see the bathrooms, this is a true late 30s bathroom. When you see the lowboy type commode, that is original. That is not from the 60s or 70s. And even like whenever you have these drains here, this is for the shower, this is for the tub, but this turns the drain on and off.
Oh, okay.
We thought the drain was clogged here. All you had to do was turn this.
It was a learning experience for you.
Yeah. So but this bathroom would be as the house evolved.
Right. Sure.
That's a newer bathroom there. That's all storage here. That has all of our archives in it.
Okay. So now one more quick stop right across the lawn, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Oh, this is so adorable. Okay, this is it. This is the spring house?
Yes.
Okay, tell us what this is or what this was.
Okay, well, this is the spring house. The spring is still running underneath here. Wonderfully cold water. If you see the shadow line across the ceiling here, this was originally 2 rooms.
Oh, okay.
And that would be the reason for the 2 heat sources and the 2 doors. See how you have a door there to the outside? So this was most likely whenever this was the working farm for some of the farm hands and things to live here. Or it was like, say, 1-room area and you had the more elaborate mantle. This is an old rope bed. Whenever you look at it, it's because you have the ropes on the bottom. You have, like, say, the straw done for, the sleeping for the mattress. So whenever you hear sleep tight with the rope bed, you had to tighten the ropes. And then don't let the bed bugs bite because you're sleeping on the old straw. So when you're looking at these, this type of a bed and things from that time period, that's where this saying is originated from.
Oh my gosh, that's fun. And I have to tell you, I have to plead ignorance. But when we were all the time we said spring house, I was thinking the season.
Yeah.
And it's the spring because it's a spring.
Because it's a spring, we're at the working farm.
Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope you enjoyed having a little bit of a peek in some of these wonderful houses here in Scottdale. Before we finish up, I want to point out, as we did last time, this is located on the front porch of the Lox House. And what is the address here?
527 North Chestnut Street, Scottdale, PA, 15683.
And these are here all the time, correct?
Yes.
And these are the walking maps that you can get and take. They're free.
Give a brief history on various of the homes in
History.
town. Talking about the styles,
These are awesome. These are nice just to even have, just as a reference. So there you go. All right. Thank you. You have been wonderful.
Thank you.
This has been a pleasure for me. I hope the folks agree, and I'm sure they will. So again, folks, I hope you like the show. And remember, keep smiling, keep dreaming, and keep watching. Ta-da! That's a big step.